Hello, it's William Jamin from LearnFinance3.com, and we're going to talk about swap. Okay, swap can be a little bit hard to understand, but once you got the hang of it, everything's so simple. Okay, so previously I believe we already introduced you guys a very important concept. I think that's called the discount factor or present value factor. Okay, I can't find that. Yeah, here. Yeah. Okay, so basically just discount that back to now. Okay, and yeah, you got an idea. You got an idea, and let's continue. So if you haven't, learned that concept, do refer to my previous tutorial. Okay, so but yeah, so basically you already know the discount factor, and what I'm going to do is to think about this. Okay, so draw a timeline here. Okay, 0 and all the way to a specific time. And so, for example, the swap, we do have a specific payer of swap and specific receiver of the swap. So, for example, if it's an interest rate swap, okay, so you're going to treat interest rate as some specific asset. So, you're going to basically, normally, we just treat the fixed as the sort of a pricing mechanism. So you got the, say, you pay fixed, and you're going to receive, I'm going to say receive float. Okay, and what is the price of this swap? Because the float is constantly changing, you can't simply say that this float is say 5%, so the swap is 5%. You can't say that. But the fix is always fixed. It's kind of like when you initialize the contracts, it's fixed and it's fixed all the way. Okay, so you're going to use the fixed rate as the kind of a pricing mechanism for your swap. So let's think about this. You got a lot of float. Okay, so float. So you receive float, you pay fixed. So you pay fixed, throughout the the life of the contract, and you're going to receive at the exact same time. You're going to receive float. So I'm going to make a extra fix, float. Yeah, you got idea. I'm not going to write all that. Okay. So how to price it at time 0? So I'm going to use the concept of the everything should be fair when you initially enter the contract. So if everything is fair, just for 1 unit of principal, so the principal is 1 unit, and you got a whole sort of float rate like 5%, 4%, 6%, doesn't really matter. But if you're using float at time 0, this should be just 1. Okay? That's really simple because the floating rate is kind of like a spot rate. So you discount that by using a spot rate, so it doesn't really matter. So for example, if I don't know, the float rate here is 5%. Okay, so at this specific time, you should get 1 plus 5%. Okay, but you need to discount that back to. So for example, this is 1 year. I'm going to it will be a 360 divided by 360. I just omit that because it's 1. Okay, but you have to discount that back to now, so it would be just a 1 plus 5%. Okay, so discount that back to now, so it will be 1. Okay, so if it's like a 2 period of a floating rate, you discount that back to now, it still be 1. So it kind of just cancel out. Okay, so in fact, you think this is very hard, but in fact, the floating is really simple. The floating always come back to his principal. Okay, so the floating will be 1. Okay, so basically, I'm going to use the float equals to fix. So float is always 1. What about fix? Fix means that you're going to pay specific amount. Okay, you can pay that specific fixed rate. I'm going to say R for rate. Okay, every time you're going to say pay fix. Okay, every time you pay that specific fixed rate, and you discount all that back to now, and don't forget the principal back to now. So you're going to do the summation here. So what I'm going to do is to fixed rate multiply that. I'm going to do summation I from 1 all the way to n. And I'm going to get the present value or discount factor. Doesn't really matter, just some variable. And for different kind of like period. Okay. So for example, if most of the time it's just a 1. Okay, let me just use the 1 for that, because the 1 multiplied fixed rate will be that specific coupon. Okay, so multiply that by 1 is just doesn't change that much. Okay, you sum it up, but don't forget it's just all sort of fixed rate, but you still need to like get the one last principal payment. So you have to plus 1. But 1 you have to like discount that back to now using your last one. So for example, the last one is n. So you have to use the present value factor or discount factor of n. Okay? So in terms of pricing, you have to get the fixed rate in order to get this swap transaction. So you have to do something like this. Our fixed rate will be something 1 subtract present value factor of the last period of principal, multiply that by 1. So you don't need to write multiply that by 1. You subtract it and you divide it by all the summation of the discount factor. So divided by the summation I all the 1 all the way to n of the present value. That's it. And I'm going to press I here, name it I here, and multiply that by 1 because it's 1 and fixed rate. Okay, so I'm going to omit 1. So that is the formula that we're aiming for. So if you are, say, got a swap, fix, pay fix, receive float, or pay float, receive fix, you have to price this swap, and you're going to use the fixed rate, and fixed rate is not like this. So you have to get all sort of a spot rate and use the last period spot rate as a discount factor. You calculate the discount factor, you plug in here, and you calculate all sort of discount factor. You sum it all up as a plug in here, and then we got this fixed rate. Okay.